Good morning, Madam Chairperson Bell, Mr. Chairperson Cameron, and the rest of the committee. Thank you so much for letting all of us speak today. We appreciate that greatly. My name is Brenda Dunstan, and I teach trips as a family. We've turned down the heat, we've turned off the lights, and we've spent the past 3 years clipping coupons to make it through. Because of this, I've returned to teaching. And this year, my job as a Category 1 teacher is in jeopardy because of the proposed cutbacks. The effect on my family would be huge if I'm not able to keep my position. We're likely to lose our home, and I struggle with how that would impact my children. I'm not alone. Many educators are facing severe financial difficulties because of pay reductions or are afraid they will lose their jobs because of forced attrition. A highly qualified professional should not have to see the quality of life diminish because they felt the call to educate children rather than undertake a more lucrative career. In an era where students are increasingly limited in their contact with positive social role models and where more concerns are being raised about their abilities to interact in socially acceptable ways, it is difficult to believe that less interaction with teachers due to larger class size and increased interaction with technology can produce graduates who are capable of productive personal relationships and intellectual excellence. What are we telling students when during tough economic times we value placing gadgets in their hands instead of providing jobs to people who need them? What are we saying when we ask them to take an online course instead of learning how to interact and build face-to-face relationships? Technology is a very valuable tool and has a definite place in education. However, I have yet to hear a valedictorian attribute their success to their computer, their cell phone, or their Facebook page. It doesn't take $1 million study to be definitive to determine that lower class size is better for students.
45 seconds, please.
It just takes a little common sense and a simple math equation. Minutes per day divided by number of students equals amount of one-on-one time. Every day I see billboards and TV ads encouraging our students to go on. However, what message are we sending to our students when we tell them they should go on but don't fund our schools adequately? Our students deserve to see that this state's views quality education is fundamental to their success, so vital that corners are not cut, so essential that they have the textbooks and teachers they need. What will you tell our children this year with your budget choices? Go on or go it on your own. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. Britton?
Dear Chairman and committee members, thank you so much for allowing me this time to talk today. My name is Britton Blower, and I teach a K-1 multi-age class in Pocatello, Idaho. My husband and I are both teachers, and we're both relatively new to the profession. I've been teaching for 4 years, and my husband has been teaching for 3. I'm a mom, a teacher, and a taxpayer. I come before you today to explain how the cuts to education affect my school, my classroom, and my home. This past year, my family took some heavy pay cuts, with both my husband and I being teachers. And as my husband is already teaching full-time and going to school full-time to get his master's degree, I'm the one who had to get the second job. Not because I wanted to, not because I had spare time, but because I had to support my family. It is very difficult to do this, to have my focus divided and my energy divided when I work approximately 70 hours a week. But I do what I have to do. I have less time and less energy, and my students and my family deserves more. I go to school every day and teach 29, 5, 6, and 7-year-olds. That's 29, not 18, not 19. They are little people who deserve to have individual attention every day. I have students on IEPs, students with behavior modification plans, and students who speak absolutely no English. Every day we juggle a myriad of behaviors that are the result of things beyond our control, not to mention a wide range of abilities, as we attempt to help every child be their personal best. We do our best to give every child 100%, but we have less time, less energy, and less money to do this with. Every child deserves the best that we can give them because every child matters. Larger class sizes would make this daunting task nearly impossible. My students deserve more. Technology has been suggested as a way to enrich student learning, and I agree. Technology is a wonderful resource that can help enrich the learning experience for many, but can never replace the teacher. I want to say this again because it's that important. Technology can never replace the teacher. The teacher is flexible, resourceful, and knowledgeable and experienced and can enhance a child's learning experience much more than technology could ever. The decisions you make today here affect real people, not just some number, not just an expense. I deserve more so that I can support my family, and my students deserve more so that they can have the intention and the opportunities to help them succeed. You are elected officials and have the obligation to do what is best for the people of Idaho, and so do not continue to handicap our future. Support our greatest resource, our students. My students deserve more, and the students of Idaho deserve more.
Thank you. Tamara?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Chairman and committee members. Most of you I've met through business and commerce, but this is interesting to be talking to you today as the mother of 4 children in Bear Lake School District. When Superintendent Luna's plan came out, the 3-pillar plan, I quickly got online, made a copy, talked to my family about it so that we could sort of envision the changes that it might make. And we were trying to be open-minded. We know that when there has to be cuts, everybody has to buckle their belt. That's how it is at our house. And so it was kind of interesting because I have a 21-year-old. She's at BYUI. She is in her last year to become a music educator. She has a bright mind. For a long time, she wanted to be a dentist, and about a junior, she decided to be an educator. And believe me, my husband was very clear about the difference in the salaries with her. And the other day, I called her, and I was excited, and she's just about to step out into the world, and I had to tell her about this plan. And she's deflated. She's concerned. She's going to be a music teacher, a band teacher, and most of my kids they're strong in performing arts and in fine arts. And as you heard today, I'm thankful I haven't been in some of those school districts because I wouldn't be the mother of a music educator, would I? She wouldn't play an oboe and also 3 other instruments at the level that she does. So you can see that it is a concern even once our children have left high school and are in higher education. My 18-year-old daughter is a senior at Bear Lake High. My 16-year-old boy is a junior, and I have a 3-year-old little girl that's just learning her nursery rhymes, and I'm starting all over again, which is a joy. One of the things that my son said to me, which I thought was interesting, is he said, "Mom, out of my friends and the guys that are around and the friends," he says, "online classes aren't for everybody." And I said, "Well, that is true. I've taken 8 online classes since 2004, and I happen to love online classes, but I do take them from a school that's really known for having a good online program."
1 minute, please.
Okay, I have to travel an hour and a half to take my classes. They can't be proctored. They have to be at a testing center. I wonder how our high school students are going to do that. I do think they should have these classes, 1 or 2 maybe before they graduate. My daughter had one her junior year, took her a full year to complete it, and by the time she got to college, her first online class that she had to take as a freshman, she was successful at, so I'm glad she had that experience. My dyslexic daughter, I'm really concerned about that kind of opportunity for her online. It's an artistic way of looking at the world. They have to fill it and look at it and get around it, and that would be an impossibility. The laptop initiative is the one thing that we were interested in. I haven't talked to anybody who has a freshman who thinks that is a good idea, so I think that that's kind of interesting. Our kids get their laptop when they're a senior, and they have to work for it in our family, and it seems like that changes everything. I do think, though, that maybe we should use the technology that they already have, like iPods and podcasts and things that would help them. And I'm really glad to talk to you today, so thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Pam Danielson, Pat McAllister, Lilborn Wishy, Carol Wallace, Brian Potter, Penny L. Cryer, and Pete Gertensen, I believe.
Yes, sir.
Sir, Penny Sir, you know her. Good morning, Pam.
Good morning. Thank you very much for
Thank
allowing
you.
this to happen. Chairman and members of the committee, my name is Pam Danielson. I'm a parent and an educator. I live in Peck, Idaho, and I teach in Orofino. I am very concerned about the proposed funding in Tom Luna's plan. Education is not the filling of a bucket, but the lighting of a fire. It will be difficult to light those fires when students interact with a computer screen Orfiner Junior Senior High does not have the wireless capability, nor do we have the electrical capability for multiple laptops to be plugged in within the classrooms. We're already down to the bare bones. We're on a 4-day school week. We've closed our junior high, moved 7th graders to the elementary, and 8th graders to the high school. Idaho should restore education funding, not jump into funding something without examining the research to substantiate the idea that online classes are better or equal methods of education. This next part is a personal anecdote from Michelle George, who is a teacher in the district in 7th grade. As a parent and advocate of education, I am deeply distressed to consider the ramifications of Mr. Luna's plan for education in Idaho. Although many of his pillars concern me, the most clearly harmful to student is the requirement that all students take at least 2 online classes a year. It's clear to me that not only is the infrastructure necessary to implement Luna's plan not in place, but I know of no research that supports the idea that online courses are equal or better methods of educating the general student. I just cannot see how this change puts students first. I'd like to share my family's personal experience to better illustrate the reality of online instruction. My daughter, an A student and now an honor student at a private college in Minnesota, attempted to take an IDLA class during her junior year. She spent 2 weeks trying to access the various components of the class. The proctor, a paraprofessional, was monitoring 12 students and did not have the training to help her. Finally, after I inquired to the technical department, we discovered that our system was not equipped to manage the requirements of the class. Also, our filters blocked the tutorials that were essential to the class. She was forced to drop it and had to shuffle her class schedule 3 weeks into the quarter in order to meet her requirement goals. Done. A more recent example is my son. Thank you.
Go ahead, finish your thought.
He had a very difficult time catching up on use the school computers. Like to see a study on the demographics of the average student who takes online classes currently. It seems obvious that before implementing such far-reaching changes statewide, we should first have validated research which proves.
Thank you very much. Pat?
Madam Chairwoman, Committee, thank you for this opportunity to allow us to come in and speak our opinion. When was the last time you saw a doctor or a nurse walk into a Rite Aid and purchase gauze and aspirin to take to work because supplies were low? It doesn't happen very often. But when was the last time you saw a school teacher walk into Rite Aid in August and load up a cart full of supplies because the school district couldn't afford the extra supplies for the students? That happens every single year. Let's make a change this year in Idaho education and focus on the classroom and the needs of our educators and students. Let's really make it count and have the students really come first this time by providing the necessary materials and teachers time he or she needs. Those needs are simple: more attention, smaller class sizes, proper supplies, and the one thing that a young mind needs to excel in society: human contact. In order for our younger generation to learn, they need to get back to the basics and build their interpersonal skills as their brain grows. Overcrowded classrooms have led to problems in schools, so why would we ever consider it again? Just because there is a group of people yelling about raising taxes, that doesn't mean we need to avoid it altogether. Our administration is so bent on no tax hike that we have made budget cuts that have compromised our children's future by playing politics with it. Currently, classrooms are overloaded with diverse students, students with disabilities, and English language learners, which all require teacher time. Raising class sizes will take away from all children. How is that good for our kids? You want expert advice? Ask a teacher. Not a committee, not a panel, and certainly not a corporation that specializes in what they are trying to sell you.
1 minute, please.
Why am I here? I struggled in school because during my educational experience, they didn't have any ways to determine a learning disability. But because of my dedicated teachers who were able to focus on all students in the classroom, they had an opportunity to learn who I was in order to teach me what I need to know. I would not be who I am today if it wasn't for those teachers who had the time to learn to teach me what I needed to know. I ask of you today, please make lower class sizes a priority. And as I look around at the committee at the beginning of the meeting, as of now, quite a few laptops are open. I just hope that each one of you had the tutorial that you needed to know to learn this 21st century by your children and your grandchildren. How do I know that? Because I call my 15-year-old nephew every time I have a problem with my computer. They already know.
Thank you
They are
very
experts.
much.
Thank you.
Thank